During my childhood, whenever I got scared after watching a horror film, my parents would reassure me that monsters don't exist in real life. However, now every once in a while I come across some case, some incident, and some people that challenge my beliefs and proves that I was wrong, and monsters indeed exist in the real world. Have you ever seen a case so gruesome, so filled with cruelty and hatred that a policeman who has probably seen hundreds of cases in his career breaks down while describing it?
I have never before seen a police officer almost break down in the witness box, so affected was he by the sight. You removed her from there and took her to a secluded spot where you violated and murdered her.
Well, today the case that I'm going to tell you about fills this criteria. Before beginning, I must warn you that this incident will definitely shake you to your very core, and you'll start to second guess if there's any humanity left in this world.
You went into the house and then her bedroom. You removed her from there and took her to a secluded spot where you violated and murdered her in the most brutal fashion. Your attitude was clearly demonstrated by the evidence that you posted an image of yourself in a mirror while making a joke that you had found where the murderer was hiding. The arrogance and callousness of that is breathtaking.
On the 2nd of July, 2018, a merely 6-year-old girl from Scotland named Alicia Sarah MacPhail was abducted from her own bed and murdered by a 16-year-old YouTuber, Aaron Campbell. The case became one of the most discussed in recent UK history, with hundreds of people turning up for the memorial service of the kid. Come with me as I take you through the horrifying details of this case step by step. Before discussing the actual incident, let us take a look at some background of the victim and the culprit. Who was Alicia? Alicia MacPhail was born in Glasgow to a 17-year-old mother named Georgina Lochran. She lived in North Lanarkshire and attended Chapelside School. According to the teachers at her school, she was a smiley and happy young girl, and she took part in all sorts of extracurricular activities. Her father, Robert, had separated from her mother when she was just 3 months old and lived in Rothesay with his parents and a 17-year-old girlfriend named Tony McLaughlin. She would regularly visit her father and her grandparents on weekends, and 5 days before the unfortunate incident, she again went to Rothesay for a 3-week visit during her summer break from school.
Today I'm going to tell you all about pasta, such a pig. I'm going to be telling you all about pasta. So first of all, pasta is a food. Everyone knows that. And pasta is now made all over the world. This is a picture of pasta, which I don't know what kind of pasta. So you'll be happy to see it. I'm just going to show you around, but this is the first case.
Aaron Thomas Campbell, the culprit. Aaron was born on 7th of May, 2002 in Shrewsbury, Shropshire. He moved to Isle of Bute, one of the most well-known tourist spots of Scotland, when he was 5 years old with his parents Christopher and Jeanette and a younger sister. Now Aaron's childhood wasn't that normal. According to different sources and people around the family, he was subjected to different types of emotional and physical abuse, with most of it coming from his alcoholic mother. Because of his attitude problems, he was tested for his behavior and was diagnosed with ADHD and clinical depression. According to his friends, he really liked to party, drink alcohol, get high, and was pretty well known among his school fellows. His behavior kept on becoming more and more weird as he became a teenager, and in 2017 he sent a Facebook message which went on like, "Might kill one day for the lifetime experience." After this incident, he was admitted into a rehabilitation center, but it didn't bear any fruit as he was caught starting fires in the center. Now the question arises how this problematic and disturbed teenager was linked to innocent child Alicia. As I've mentioned earlier, Aaron was a boy who liked to party and get high. Because of his likeness towards cannabis, he was linked to different people in the area who sold the drug, and Ashley's father, Robert MacPhail, was one of them. Aaron was acquainted with Robert and his new girlfriend Tony because of this arrangement, but this relation stopped in earlier months of 2018 because of a dispute between both of them and involvement of Aaron's mother.
This is a vlog. I'm just here to talk. I'm first gonna start off with subscribers on YouTube. I had a little breaking point in the middle of 9 subscribers where I slowed down and didn't get very many subscribers. But now I'm fast getting subscribers. I'm already up at 21 within about a week. So from 9 to 16 within a week is quite good. Like, my dream is obviously to get the same amount of subscribers as PewDiePie, maybe Yogscaster Syndicate, just people like that.
Build up to the incident. It was 1st of July 2018, just 3 days after Alicia had arrived to visit her grandparents. She was put to bed at her granddad's seafront home, and at around 11 her father checked, and she was sound asleep. He left the key in the front door, a thing that was common in Rothsay because of its safety and crime-free environment. Now, on the very same night, Aaron Campbell decided to have a party at his home and invited 15 of his friends to his home. By the time the party finished, which was before midnight, Aaron was already drunk. About 30 minutes after midnight, one of his friends came back and saw Aaron lying in his bed. According to the said friend, Aaron was pretty drunk and suicidal. The friend offered to stay, but Aaron refused, saying that he'll just get stoned. He sent several messages to different people who sold cannabis to him, including Robert. He even called him at 1:47 and 1:48 but got no response. After getting no response over the call, he decided to steal cannabis and left his house at 1:54 with a knife. The incident. Robert's house was just a 5-minute walk from Aaron's residence. He entered the house and went into the room closest to the front door. When he saw a young girl sleeping on the bed, his sick mind immediately saw an opportunity which he later described as, "All I thought about was killing her once I saw her." He at once picked up the half-asleep girl in his arms and went out without anyone noticing him. He was walking along the ocean shore when Alicia woke up and asked who he was. He responded by saying that he was his father's friend and was just taking her back home. He then took the girl to a secluded location where he barbarically raped, assaulted, and then murdered the 6-year-old Alicia. After committing the horrible crime, he threw all his clothes in the sea, went home for a shower, but soon returned to the crime scene to pick up his phone. What happened after? On July 2nd at about 6 o'clock in the morning, the granddad, Callum MacPhail, woke up to go to work and found his granddaughter missing from her bed. He looked and couldn't find her anywhere in the house. Her bike was still in the garden, and Alicia hadn't shown any history of running away previously. 23 minutes later, Alicia's grandma Angela King notified the local police, put a status on Facebook pleading everyone to look for her granddaughter, and started searching with the rest of the family in nearby areas. During the same time, Robert noticed Aaron's calls on his phone and called him. At 9:01, he responded with, "Sorry doesn't matter," plus 2 laughing emojis. When Roberts asked him to keep an eye out for Alicia, he replied, "Oh damn, I'm sure she's not went too far, X." Search for the body. The search soon gathered more and more people, and soon the Scottish police was using a helicopter for the search operation. A Coast Guard boat started searching along the shoreline around 6:55, and soon they discovered the kitchen knife close to the MacPhail home. Seeing King's Facebook post, a man named Jorge Williams had also started to look for the girl. At 8:54, he informed police that he had discovered Alicia's naked dead body. She was found about 15 minutes away from Robert's house in a wooded area. Alicia's mother became aware of her daughter's death through Angela's Facebook page and was then taken to Isle of Bute. Post-mortem examination was conducted the next day, and according to results, Alicia had received a total of 117 injuries. Some of them came before her death, while others happened afterwards. There were many injuries to her neck, face, nose, mouth, and genitalia. In the final statement, the pathologist stated that her death was the result of significant forceful pressure to her neck and face. Investigation and arrests. After the discovery of the body and the post-mortem, Scotland Police started a large-scale investigation. The local police commander, Chief Superintendent Hazel Hendren, gave a statement that every available resource from across Police Scotland is being made available to this major investigation. Police thoroughly conducted search of Robert's house and then started house-to-house inquiries. Many parts of the island were sealed off as the police believed that the murderer was still on the island. Like most residents of the island, Aaron's mother, Jeanette, too, was involved in the search for Alicia. For the same purposes, she checked the CCTV cameras installed outside her home and noticed that her son left and came back twice within the hours the girl had gone missing. When she asked him about this, he assured her that he had nothing to do with the case. Jeanette, however, still gave the footage to police. After seeing the footage and taking account of calls made by Aaron, he was questioned by Detective Gavin McKellar. During questioning, he showed no signs of worry and answered all of the questions with ease. On July 4th, he was arrested on suspicion of Alicia's murder and was taken to a prison in Glasgow. The very next day, authorities charged him with the murder and rape of Alicia McPhail. The trial and sentence. On 10th of December 2018, Aaron appeared in the Glasgow High Court and pleaded not guilty for all of his charges. The trial started on 11th of February 2019. The case was presided over by Judge Lord Matthews, and he was shown the CCTV footage from Jeanette's house. Aaron was seen leaving the house at 1:54 a.m. on the 2nd of July and then returning at 3:35 a.m. He was again captured leaving and returning again 2 times before 4:07 a.m. People from around the island submitted CCTV footage as information, and in some of them a person was seen walking along the shoreline at 2:25 a.m. and 2:26 a.m. while carrying something in his arms. Now the pathologist Jean Williams had already testified that Alicia's feet were clean and she was indeed carried to the site of the murder. Furthermore, Jeanette Campbell appeared before the court and confirmed that things recovered from the beach after Alicia's death belonged to her son. DNA findings also confirmed that Aaron was the murderer and was present on the beach at that time. Forensic scientist Stuart Bailey confirmed that DNA samples that were taken from Alicia's neck belonged to Aaron. Other than her neck, DNA matches were also found on Alicia's face and 14 other parts of body. A software and cybercrime expert also took part in the investigation and appeared before the court stating that on July 3, 2018, Aaron used his phone to make Google searches like "How do police find DNA?" and "Collecting DNA evidence." After this, a 16-year-old girl also gave her testimony that hours after the murder, Aaron made a Snapchat video with words, "Found the guy who has done it," and sent it to 25 people. The trial resulted in a mere 9 days, with the jury coming up with a unanimous decision of guilty after a deliberation of 3 hours on February 21st. According to Judge Matthews, the evidence against Aaron was overwhelming, and this was some of the most wicked and evil crimes this court has ever heard of in decades of dealing with depravity. He went on to describe the young man as a cold, calculating, remorseless, and dangerous individual completely lacking in victim empathy. He then gave him a life sentence with a minimum term of 27 years.
I've taken account of the circumstances of the offences, the contents of the reports, and everything said on your behalf. I am conscious that you are a child. In sentencing children, it has to be borne in mind that they are not yet fully rounded, mature human beings. A child's best interests are a primary consideration, and the desirability of the child's reintegration into society must also be taken into account. However, the weight to be given to the various sentencing considerations will depend on a number of factors, including the age of the child and all the circumstances of the case. The nature of these appalling offences and what I have read in the reports make it clear to me that reintegration and rehabilitation, while these are important considerations, are remote possibilities, and neither your best interests nor anyone else's will be served by a speedy return to the community. Nonetheless, the punishment part will not be as long as it would have been had you been an adult. Your sentence will run from 6 July 2018. You will be detained without limit of time, and I fixed the punishment part at 27 years.
When the hearing ended, Alicia's mother was seen shouting and hurling abuse at Aaron, and while talking to media said, "A life sentence should be a life sentence. He should have no human rights and doesn't deserve anything because he is inhuman." A true monster? Aaron Campbell confessed to his crime in front of Dr. Gary McPherson, a consultant forensic clinical psychologist. In his reports, Dr. McPherson said that Aaron was quite satisfied with the murder and told that it took everything to stop laughing during different points in the trial. To further establish what kind of monster the boy actually was, the report stated that Aaron continued to have thoughts about having sex with children, killing them, and having sex with dead bodies. A final appeal. On 10th of September 2019, Aaron submitted an appeal to shorten his sentence and succeeded. His minimum term was reduced from 27 to 24 years, and the 3 judges who listened to the appeal were of the opinion that the original sentence given by Judge Matthews was a bit too harsh if you take his age into account. Conclusion. Currently, Aaron Campbell is imprisoned at HM Young Offenders Institution, Polmont. His YouTube account was removed from the platform after his conviction, and he will be moved to an adult prison once he turns 21. The case got a lot of media attention in the UK, and according to many people, it's one of the most heinous crimes to have been committed in the history of Rothesay. Alicia's funeral was held on the 21st of July, 2018 in Coatbridge. She's buried at Coltswood Cemetery, and hundreds of people have since then visited her grave to show their support. Just like the judge, policeman, and most of the people of this country, this case certainly shook me to my very core. It's proof that sometimes humans can and do become worse than animals and commit crimes that are horrible to even think about. I'll see you soon with more from the world of crime. Until then, adios.